Welcome back, guys and girls, and welcome to part 2 of 3 for World's Ultra Strongman Strength Ireland. So, event 3, the giant dumbbell for reps. And as we know, the dumbbell was 100 kilos and they had 75 seconds in order to complete as many reps as possible. Now, Rauno Heinla went first. Obviously, again, like I mentioned, 15 athletes, so one always had to go alone, unfortunately. Now, Rauno managed to do 3 in that time, so not an amazing amount of reps. I do believe he switched hands, but I'm not sure if both hands are the ones that are injured, like I mentioned before. So if they both were injured, it would have caused him an issue irregardless. Rauno's not really known for his pressing power. He's more of a deadlifter and has better strengths elsewhere. But nonetheless, he managed to do 3 in that time of 75 seconds. So the first 2 athletes to go head-to-head were Rob and Konstantine Janashia. Now, it was actually the tricep injury for Konstantine that's put him out for 2 years. So he was naturally very anxious and imagine very hesitant about doing this. And unfortunately, he didn't get a single rep and he didn't even bother trying. I think he just knew by instinct that something he wasn't ready. And he said he felt only 70% recovered. So I can see why he sat it out. He didn't want to rush it. Now, Rob also had a tricep rupture a few months ago, so he actually switched to the opposite arm. And luckily for him, he's still got pretty good pressing power on that non-dominant arm. So he managed an impressive 6 reps in that time. So well done to Rob, because on the weak arm, that's pretty impressive. Hopefully next time you get a stronger arm in there. So next up, we had Bishop and Mikahail Shivlakov. Now, they went for split times, I think, on this as well. So these two managed to get 3 reps. Again, Bishop is not really known for his pressing power, and neither is Mikahail. So it's not really their strongest event. But again, I personally press 50 kilos for singles. So I want to work up to 100, but I can only imagine how hard that must feel. You can see the thickness of that bar. And like they were said, the comments are saying, you know, the dumbbells made from 2 actual Atlas stones fused together. So it's a crazy thing to lift over 200 pounds. I just can't believe they can actually do it. So well done, chaps. And those 2 took 3 reps for each of that. Then we moved on to Tom and also Eyfor from Iceland. Now, Big C was refereeing along with Terry Hollands, who was meant to compete, but Terry decided to pull out. So he helped Big C on the refereeing. And as we know about Big C, he's a very strict ref. And he actually discounted 2 of the reps, I believe, with Tom. He wouldn't allow them because he didn't get the proper lockout and didn't hold it for long enough. So from what I saw, I don't have the full numbers, but I believe he only actually got 1 successful lift from Big C. So not a good event at all for Tom whatsoever. Whereas Eyfor did pretty good. He got 4 reps in that time. So not too shabby at all, and obviously beating Tom there and besting him. But like I mentioned, Big C is a strict ref, so it doesn't matter who you are. He's always going to be on it. You know, the guy is one of the best pressers in the world. You know, he's still got the log press record, so he's going to be strict. So next up, we had Bobby and Ervin Toots, and Bobby absolutely smashed it. He's mentioned that he considers himself a very gifted static strength lifter, and he didn't disappoint us. He actually got 6 reps in that time, which is very impressive. Ervin got a good 4, so again, not too bad. Besting the previous athletes. So far we've only got Eyfor on 4 and Ervin on 4, but Rob and Bobby both matching each other with 6 reps. So really impressive, Bobby, again. Like, he's really, I think the world's strongest man did good for him, and he learned a lot from that. And going into this event, this competition, he absolutely smashed it. And I think we've got lots more to come from him. So I'm looking forward to seeing Bobby compete in future competitions that are coming up later this year. Next up, we had we had Mohammed going against Aivars from Latvia. Again, like I mentioned, the guy who took 3rd. So they both did, I believe, 3 or 4. Unfortunately, the footage was a bit sketchy in places. They kept jumping between the 2, and I couldn't get a full count before they went off camera. And the refs, well, not the refs, sorry, Big Loz and the other chap didn't actually mention what they got. But from my account, it's about 3 or 4 in that time. Now, Aivars is not known for being the best athlete at everything he does. He doesn't stand out, but he's very consistent, and I believe that's why he did so well throughout the competition and got that third place spot, because he didn't actually win any, by the way. He didn't win a single event, but he got good points overall in each one to keep him quite high on that leaderboard, so well done to him. Then we had Novikov and Caron, and as we know about Novikov, he is the current... he holds the world record for the Dumbbell for Reps challenge. He did it last year in the Feats of Strength online series with 11 reps. Now, he didn't get 11 yesterday, but he actually got 10 reps. So only one off his world record. And you can just see it's so comfortable for him. He's such a good technical lifter. He really owns that dumbbell, and you can see he's well practiced with it. So not a problem at all to get those 10 reps. Caron, to be fair, got 8 reps, so not too shabby at all. That was obviously the second best score of the day. And it's funny, just constantly nipping at the toes of Novikov. And it's interesting, quite a lot of the events, the pair of them are put together quite often. They didn't seem to put them two with anyone else. So that was interesting in itself. And good, fair play to them. 18 reps between them. That's pretty impressive. That's a good feat of strength and a nice little comp to see between those two. So lastly, we had Ramin, the other Iranian, and he went against Luke Stoltman. Now, Luke is known for being a crazy presser, particularly the log press. However, his single press, I don't think, is as good or up to scratch. The pair of them, again, I'm not too sure if they got 3 or 4. The information was a bit sketchy and I couldn't tell fully from the footage. I think they got 3 or 4 each in that time, and obviously matching each other's scores in that aspect. So I believe it would have just been based again on the time aspect, not on the reps, because from what I saw, they did get the same amount of reps on that. So well done to Novikov and obviously J-Off for taking the first and second spot. And also I'm just double checking that the runner-up, which was actually Luke Stoltman, funny enough. So he obviously got some more reps than I saw. So anyway, well done, chaps. So event 4, the carry and load. So as we know, they had a shield, they had an Atlas stone, and they had a 100-kilo tire. So Konstantine was the first to go up on his own, unfortunately. Like I said, one always has to go on their own first, so it's a little bit unfair, but everyone knew that they might have to do that. The one thing I will say is, credit to all the chaps. The fact they were doing this without any crowd, and on their own, it's a big deal. So I know they've got people watching them, so they're not completely on their own. They've got the refs, you've got the people there to help assist in the crew. But still, he's running on his own, against no other clock time and no crowd. So well done to you, and well done to all the athletes who had to do that. And to all the athletes who are against each other anyway. As we know, a competition is much better with a crowd. You've got the atmosphere and the energy from them. So unfortunately, Konstantine, he didn't actually manage to get the shield up. Quite a lot of the athletes didn't do it, funny enough. It's a very awkward, heavy thing to hold, and he just couldn't do it. So next up, we had Tom against Mikahail, and, I had no reservations at all that Tom would not have an issue with this one. He absolutely smashed it. He did it in the fastest time against Mikahail. He managed to do all 3, no problem. Obviously, his height is a massive advantage here. 6'8". Getting that shield up nice and high is not going to be a problem for him. Unfortunately, Mikahail, he couldn't get the shield at the end. He failed. He valiantly tried a few times, but it just wasn't happening. Like I said, it happened to a lot of athletes. But yeah, Tom did a nice quick time, no problem whatsoever. Absolutely smashed it and started to show he was a bit more on form by this third event, because up until now, this fourth event, he hasn't been doing too well overall, which is a real surprise, because he did so well in the 2019 World's Ultra Strongman, and overall in all comps he has been in, he's been doing amazing and setting loads of world records. So disappointing, but still, he did come second to Novikov in last year's World's Strongest Man. So apologies, guys and girls. I don't know why I kept saying that JF Caron was second. As we all know, he was third in the World's Strongest Man, and obviously second in yesterday's competition. So sorry, Tom, and sorry, Caron, for getting that one wrong. Tom was second in World's Strongest Man, and Caron would be in third. But now JF is now chasing Novikov even more by coming third to him and then second to him in this competition. So next up, we had Bishop and Rauno. Now, Bishop and Rauno both, unfortunately, didn't manage to complete all 3 lifts. So they did the tyre and the Atherstone with no problem whatsoever. Looked nice and easy for the pair of them. But like everyone else, they really struggled on the shield. And, like Big Loz was saying, it's about the height of how high you get that shield, and having that extra height on you can definitely help to get it up there. So sadly, they didn't finish it. And like I said, this was time, so they were also counting points based on how many implements did they lift and how quickly did they do that. So I don't have any timings on these ones. I wasn't able to get the information. But as you can see, and as I tell you, they only managed to do 2 of the implements and missed out on the shield. So unlucky chaps, but they were consistent throughout the competition nonetheless. And I love seeing these 2 perform because Rauno's a great athlete and Bishop's done so well. He's now obviously become a full-time strongman. He's quit his full-time job as a strength conditioner coach for a rugby team in the UK. So he's obviously taken it more seriously, and I think now that he's got a full year to dedicate himself to his training and obviously competing, I'm hoping he's going to do well, because he's not won anything since he won British Strongest Man. So there'll be more to come from Bishop. I will definitely keep an eye on him, and I think I'll make a video of him soon, because he's a very credible athlete, and he's definitely done well to come where he is now. He's bulked up a lot and has considerably put on a lot of strength as well as mass to back that up. So yeah, as you can see here, he does try, but it just doesn't happen. So fair play to him. Didn't give up, but in the end, the grip was gone. So next up, we had Ervin Toots, and he was against Eyfor from Iceland. So Ervin actually managed to do all of them. He wasn't as fast as Eyfor, though. He was actually very quick. And Eyfor, even though he's not super tall, he had a great technique and got the shield really nice and high up on his shoulders, so he had no problem whatsoever flipping that shield onto the platform. So great to see the 2 of them did do it, because like I said, a lot of the athletes didn't manage to do all 3. I think it's a massive achievement just to get all 3 up anyway, even especially if you're timed and against other people who could do it, if not faster than you. So well done to the pair of them. Good to see some guys getting up there, and very impressive, because these items are very heavy. I've got to mention, so the Atherstone is 120 kilos and the shield is 140 kilos. So yeah, big numbers. Ramin was next against Mohammed. So the 2 Iranians went head to head on this one. So that's good to see 2 guys in the same country going head to head. So Ramin actually won and did them all. They both did them all, but Ramin was the faster of the 2. And Mohammed, he managed to do all of it, but at the end, he used the tyre as leverage to get that shield on, because the shield almost slipped off and he couldn't actually get it up there without, dropping it. So he, it's allowed. It wasn't counted as a foul or as cheating. He was allowed to do that. It's within the rules. So he did that. Fair play to him, and he managed to get all 3 up as well. So well done to him, and well done to Ramin. Good to see these 2 going head to head. And I'll be honest to say, they're very strong men, and I'm looking forward to seeing the 2 of them again competing in more competitions, because I think there's a lot more to see from these 2. They did well and were very consistent in everything. I couldn't really see major weaknesses in either of them. They've got some, they've got some room to manoeuvre and improve upon, but couldn't really criticise them too much at all. So Luke was next, and he went up against Rob Kearney. So this one was a bit more interesting. Luke smashed it, no problem at all, really nice and fast, did all 3 of them with ease, so beating Rob. Rob obviously naturally being cautious. I know triceps are not biceps, but there's a lot of pressure and uncomfortable, how can I say, the weight for the shield is, when you hold it, is very uncomfortable and awkward, and even though it normally puts a lot of stress on the forearms and biceps, it can still cause problems in other parts of the body. And if you've had a weak point, you've had an injury, it could potentially flare that up. And Rob unfortunately couldn't do the shield, so he tapped out, and I think he did the sensible thing. He didn't try to force it. He just thought, no, I'll stop there, and I'll call it a day. So fair play to him. Well done to Luke. Luke's obviously got good height. He's a tall man as well, like Tom. Not as tall as Tom, but he's tall. The three weights weren't difficult for him, so it's like another day at the office. So it's nice to see Luke doing a bit better. because unfortunately, like Tom, he wasn't on top form yesterday overall. So he did win one event though, which is obviously it's a bit of salvation. So next up we had Caron, and he went up against Bobby. So Caron actually, JF Caron, he managed to do all of them in the fastest time. He would have done it even faster if he hadn't dropped the shield though. So the first time he approached it, he threw it on basically and it fell off. Luckily not dropping on his feet because he would have broken his toes. So obviously it was very annoying for him, you know, no doubt. But he still got good time, and he managed to complete all of them. But unfortunately for Bobby, he couldn't do the shield, so he just about missed out. And obviously for him, that's even more frustrating because he was so close, but just so far at the same time. And you know, like you see there where JF, he drops it. So you know, normally that could really throw someone off, but he managed to get back up and recoup it, and managed to settle it down. So well done to him, and well done to Bobby. You know, good effort, but unfortunately not today. So lastly, the last two athletes were Novikov and Aivars, and they both completed it, and in a very, very, very close time. If it hadn't been for Novikov's different technique, where he actually came around to the side of the platform with the shield, I think probably Aivars would have won, because he went for the conventional route straight forward, and obviously there's things in his way. So there's tyres in his way, the stone, whatnot. And I think Novikov, again, he just studied everything and he watched everyone else. And because he went last, he thought, right, I'm going to try a different option. And by going around to the side, which again is allowed, it wasn't a rule breaker, he got a different leverage and angle with the shield. And like I mentioned, didn't have that tyre in his way, because I think he noticed that a lot of guys, because they're big and the tyre's big and the shield's big, there's quite a lot going on in a short space. So he thought, look, I'll just go around to the side of it and just throw it on. And look how easy it was, effortless basically. So yeah, very good, guys. At the end of these two events, Novikov has won his second victory, which has put him in a good position for the overall final. As we know, he's won bronze on a couple others. So guys, we've got one more video to go, and that's going to be the Atlas Stone run. Like I said, this one's from 100 kilos to 200 kilos, 222 to 440 pounds, and obviously that's going to be as quick as possible. So tune in for the next video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this one. Put the card at the end of this video now so you can watch the final event and the winners. So take care, and I'll see you soon. Amigo and Finis, signing out.